Alright, here we go. Back at it. No, be quiet. Damn it, Mayhem. Have you ever been vote shamed? Afraid to vote for your morals because people are putting the pressure of, if you don't vote for my guy, then that's 4 more years of Trump, or you're wasting your vote, or you might as well vote for Trump, or a vote for anyone but Biden is a vote for Trump, or my favorite, you must be a Republican in progressive clothing if you vote green. If a liberal has said this to you, then welcome to Real Talk with Mike G. Today I'm going to talk to you about voting your conscience. Whether you're voting Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, or voting green, it's important to vote for what you want. But it's also important to know when you're being bullied into voting for someone that wasn't your first, second, or even third choice. And today, I'll be going over the differences between the candidates running for 2020 and why it's important for me to vote green this year. And if your first instinct is to vote shame me because I'm using my 15th Amendment right to vote for who I want instead of who you want, then good job. That changes nothing. If you want Biden to win, you have to work overtime to convince us independent and third-party voters why your candidate is the better choice. And options like, Biden is better than Trump, or let's get Trump out of office, then we can push Biden left, are not viable answers to us. We want policies, and both Biden and Trump oppose all of our policies. So why should I vote for the guy who would not give me what I want? I'd rather vote for what I want and not get it than to vote for what I don't want and get it. If Biden is so electable, then he should win in a landslide against Trump, just like he did against Bernie on Super Tuesday, right? Wrong. Obama pulled the strings to give Biden the support he desperately needed, and that's why he won. They suppressed our vote by rigging voting machines and closing polling stations when college students were still in line. And Biden didn't need the third party and independent voters then, so why are you liberals so damn scared? Because you know Biden isn't electable, and Kamala Harris is despised by the African community. You know, the community Biden isn't even trying to win over. So when Biden and Harris lose this November, you have no one to blame except the DNC, Tom Perez, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, James Clyburn, and all the other Democratic candidates who sold their souls and endorsed Biden. And if Biden wins by some miracle, all of his supporters who vote shamed us will have cost all future support and endorsements. I don't think we'll go into the shadows after November 3rd. Whoever wins, Biden or Trump, we will be critical and fight them until the next election. So now that I got my intro out of the way, let's dive into the policies of Green Party candidate Howie Hawkins. There are 3 sections. Part 1, Economic Bill of Rights, which includes job guarantee, income guarantee, $20 minimum wage, homes for all, Medicare for all, National Health Service, lifelong free education, secure retirement for all, and just transition for workers. And I've heard all the excuses to the opposition of Medicare for all, and they all fall flat. Find some new material because every other major developed country has it and it works. The only reason why you're forced to believe it doesn't work is because you've grown accustomed to the way things have been the last 50 to 100 years. And that thing is called corporate socialism. Corporate socialism means giving tax breaks and bailouts to major corporations instead to the working people of this country. So you want me to move to a failed socialist country? Newsflash, we're already living in one. Corporate socialism has shown time and time again that it always fails the working class people of this country. Unless you're a billionaire, why do you care whether or not Jeff Bezos, the richest man in history, has to pay billions in taxes every year? The man can single-handedly end world hunger and homelessness. He didn't earn that wealth. He gained it by exploiting the hard work of his employees. And who else remembers bailing out Wall Street with your tax money in 2008? If so, why aren't you pissed about that? I was only 17, but I'm still pissed for you. Even during this pandemic, they're letting people be evicted, go medically bankrupt, die, become homeless, go months unemployed, and still force you to pay the mortgage when you don't have a job. Voting Democrat or Republican isn't a vote against corporate socialism. It's a vote for it. Want proof? Okay. Do you remember Obama's slogan of hope and change? So what change did Barack Obama bring? That's what I thought. He didn't work to push for Medicare for all. Instead, we got Obamacare, which only covers people under their parents until age 26. So if you were dropped from their insurance and can't afford insulin or any medication, then you'll die, and Obama doesn't care. Medicare for all would have everyone covered for the rest of their lives. No deductibles, no copays. And did you know public education is a form of socialism? Did you know the brave firefighters who come and fight fires for us is also socialism? Medicare for all is just like public education. except it's for healthcare. And according to a study from Yale University, Medicare for All would save the United States $450 billion and prevent nearly 70,000 deaths a year. Part 2. Eco-Socialist Green New Deal, which includes 100% clean energy by 2030, public utilities, high-speed rail, public transportation, green manufacturing, regenerative agriculture, infrastructure reconstruction, and zero-waste manufacturing. And just to be clear, Joe Biden wants 100% clean energy by 2050, when we only have 10 years to fix the earth. So already his Save the Earth plan will kill us all. Same with Trump. They're not even going to be alive when we're all burning for their sins. Biden also claims he believes the scientists when it comes to the environment, but doesn't want to ban fracking. I couldn't make this up, even if I tried. And lastly, part 3, peace policies, which includes 75% military spending cut, close all U.S. bases abroad, end regime change, no first strike, new nuclear treaties, nuclear disarmament, and reinvest in a global Green New Deal.
Why cut our military spending by 75%?
Because who are we afraid of? Iraq? Iran? Even with these cuts, we still have the most powerful military in the world. Remember, during this pandemic, the Republican COVID relief bill included $686 million for F-35 fighter jets, while cutting unemployment benefits for 25 million people. Are you mad yet? Because you should be. This is what looting under corporate socialism looks like. Liberals keep saying, vote like your life depends on it. That's exactly what I'm going to do, and that's why I'm voting green. So let's go over the differences between Howie Hawkins, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Joe Jorgensen. The differences are night and day. People's values. First, we're going to cover who best represents the people's values, based on data gathered from the Green Party. Number 1, Howie Hawkins is in favor of Medicare for All, also known as universal health care, while Trump, Biden, and Jorgensen all oppose it. What does the public think? 56% of voters are in favor of universal health care. Number 2, Howie Hawkins and Joe Biden both believe climate change is a major threat, while Trump and Jorgensen oppose it. What does the public think? 60% agree climate change is a major threat. Number 3, Howie Hawkins and Joe Biden both believe the minimum wage should be raised, while Trump and Jorgensen oppose it. What does the public think? 67% are in favor of raising the minimum wage. Number 4, Howie Hawkins believes in campaign finance reform, while Trump, Biden, and Jorgensen all oppose it. 77% are in favor of campaign finance reform. However, some sources tell me that Jorgensen is in favor of campaign finance reform. I've read 2 different results about this, so I'll just give her the point in this round. I don't want to sideline her like that. That wouldn't be fair. Number 5, Howie Hawkins believes in protecting Social Security, while Trump, Biden, and Jorgensen all oppose it. What does the public think? 74% are in favor of protecting Social Security. So far, Howie has come out the stronger candidate, with Biden second, Jorgensen third, and Trump dead last. Biden has already proven he doesn't believe climate change is a threat, and he won't lift a finger to raise the minimum wage, so Biden can join Trump at the bottom. But let me guess, we can push Biden left once we get him in the White House because he put Bernie Sanders in charge of his progressive task force, right? I hate to break it to you, but that's not going to happen with Trump or Biden as president. If history is any indicator, things will stay the same regardless of who wins. We need to elect progressive candidates into the Senate to rural majority in order to bring real change. We only need to flip 4 Senate seats to rural majority, and by doing this, puts Bernie Sanders in charge of the Senate Budget Committee and the Health Subcommittee, giving us a real shot at Medicare for All. But don't hold your breath. Biden still hasn't earned my vote, even with this possibility. He will do everything he can to prevent this. Remember, he admitted on camera he'd veto Medicare for All if it landed on his desk.
No question. Let's flash forward. Your president, Bernie Sanders, is still active in the Senate. He manages to get Medicare for All through the Senate in some compromised version, the Elizabeth Warren version or other version. Nancy Pelosi gets a version of it through the House of Representatives. It comes to your desk. Do you veto it?
I would veto anything that delays providing the security and the certainty of health care being available now. If they got that through and by some miracle, there was an epiphany that occurred, and some miracle occurred that said, okay, it's passed, then you got to look at the cost. I want to know, how did they find the $35 trillion? What is that doing? Is it going to significantly raise taxes on the middle class, which it will? What's going to happen? Look, my opposition isn't to the principle that you should have Medicare. I mean, everybody, health care should be a right in America. My opposition relates to whether or not, A, it's doable, two, what the cost is, and what the consequences for the rest of the budget are. How are you going to find $35 trillion over the next 10 years without having profound impacts on everything from taxes for middle class and working class people, as well as the impact on the rest of the budget?
Nice job winning our votes, Joe. So if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that even during a global pandemic, the Democrats and Republicans refused to endorse policies like Medicare for all and housing for all. They even failed to bail us out. Instead, they bailed out billionaires while the weak and poor died by the thousands. You don't need to be poor and struggling to want the people who earn an honest dollar to not fight for their life every day. And don't forget, if our independent and third-party votes didn't matter so much, the Democrats and Republicans wouldn't try so hard to suppress it. 91.7 million people didn't vote in 2016. And if over half of the viewers who watched the first 2020 presidential debate walked away not wanting to vote for either candidate, but instead voted green, we would actually win and dismantle this long overdue two-party system. So whoever wins this November, just remember that I'll be here watching, ready to take you on and call out your bullshit. Until then, see you at the polls. This is Mike G, signing off.